Hopefully my mom doesn't interrupt me while I'm doing this, but hey everyone, my name is Adrian Martinez, and today my persuasive speech is going to be about abolishing the death penalty. And I'd like to begin with a quote that was shared in one of my favorite shows, Criminal Minds. I believe it's season 7, episode 15, where it's shared at the end of the show. And the quote is made by an activist named Desmond Tutu. And the quote, as I wrote down in my paper, is to take a life when a life has been lost is revenge, not justice. And the death penalty is a government practice where an individual is killed because of crimes him or her have committed throughout their life, like serious crimes. And the death penalty has been a very serious cause. And I searched it up, and this past year there was about 483 individuals that were executed alone in the United States. That's not involving the whole world. So, talking a little bit of the history, the death penalty was first created as a punishment for harsh crimes. At first, the death penalty was used on 25 different crimes, and murder wasn't one of those 25 crimes, which is a little crazy because now they use it for murder in some states. The death penalty has been in place for many years, dating back to the 16th century. And the first individual that was ever executed, well, he was executed, but they ordered him to take his own life, was an individual that was accused of doing some sort of magic in Egypt early in the 16th century. And the first ever execution that happened in the States, well, not in the States, but in what was the United States in 1608, happened in a small town, sorry, known as Jamestown, I'm sorry. The man's name was George Kendall, and he was killed for treason. Out of the 50 states in the U.S. today, only 14 still carry out the death penalty, and those 14 are states in the East Coast. Those 14 states, or most of them are in the East Coast. Those 14 states are Alaska, Hawaii, Iowa, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, let me see, New York, Rhode Island, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wisconsin, I believe. I think I got all 14 down. And as I go on with the speech, obviously I'd like to share that I am against the death penalty for various reasons. Firstly, I believe that it isn't right for anyone to have the right to choose who lives and who dies for a crime that they've committed or a mistake they've made. Everyone makes mistakes in this world. Sometimes we get caught, sometimes we don't. And these past this past year, I took criminal justice classes. I took 3 criminal justice classes, and I realized throughout those classes that our court system isn't always right. And I believe that once someone is killed or put to death by the death penalty, it can be undone, even if new evidence gets brought up that can prove one's innocence. I was looking online and I found an article on www.amnesty.org, which shares the death penalty violates the most fundamental human right, life. It is the ultimate cruel, inhuman, and degrading punishment. And I believe this quote is something to pay attention to because everything is final once someone is put to death. And us humans, none of us are perfect or near being close to perfect. So we all make mistakes throughout our lifetime. And the way I see it, you wouldn't want our lives to depend on the decision someone else makes because all of us make mistakes. Another article I was going through that you can find on www.deathpenaltycurriculum.org or just deathpenaltycurriculum.org shares the death penalty is applied unfairly and should not be used at all. And there's so many reasons on how the death penalty is used unfairly, but most of the factors are, let's see, it can be the person defending you, the place where the crime was committed, and one of the big factors is the race of a defendant or victim. Not all of us have money in this world, and for those of us who don't, we're assigned a public lawyer, which is bad for serious crimes. I believe it's bad for serious crimes. The risky thing about getting a lawyer like that is that you don't know much about the lawyer, and you don't know how much time the lawyer is going to put into your case and uh put into proving that you're innocent. That's what I was trying to say. You can't forget that today we live in a society where race plays a big part in one's conviction. Looking back 45 years ago, in the year 1976, I believe, 156 black defendants were executed while only 11 whites were executed. 11 whites, that's a big difference. And that was just in 1976 alone. And frankly, we can't get rid of um, we can't get rid of it. And a big point is that until race and geography of an individual can be ignored, the death penalty shouldn't be used because it's just used very unfair. And we really can't rely on the death penalty. In the year 1973, which was 3 years before the 156 black individuals were executed, 100, 156-ish, 160-ish defendants that were released from death row in 26 states, and that's half of the United States. That's a big number for half of the United States. This alone shows all of us that there are serious flaws in our system, in our criminal justice system, and mistakes can easily be made regarding of who it is making it. While reading an article on deathpenaltycurriculum.org, again, it shares that our capital punishment is unreliable. A recent study by Columbia University Law School found that 2/3 of all capitals contain serious errors. And when the cases were retried, over 80% of the defendants were not sentenced to death. So the death penalty is very unreliable, and those who take the death penalty as retribution, are failing in remembering what our criminal justice system is about or supposed to be about. And the death penalty is the cruelest type of punishment any individual can endure. Individuals can either be executed lethal injection, by the electric chair, or by firing squad, which is where they have multiple people line up and they just shoot you with a gun. And after reading my speech, my question to all of you individuals who are listening to my speech is, what would you do if you were a defendant in a case that received the death penalty and you knew you were innocent? Thank you for listening to me, and I appreciate it.